Have you ever noticed that person who's perpetually rushing, always stressed, always declaring how incredibly busy they are? You ask them how they are, and the answer is almost always, so busy. But here's the thing. Sometimes these are the very same people who don't seem to accomplish much, or whose lives, upon closer inspection, aren't actually that packed. It's a paradox, isn't it? The constant declaration of busyness, often without the visible output to match. Is it a badge of honor, a cry for help, or something deeper rooted in our psychology? Psychology says this isn't just about time management or a heavy workload. It's about a complex interplay of ego, anxiety, and societal pressures. Today, we're going to decode the minds of those who are always busy, even when they're not. 1. The performance of busyness. In our modern world, busy has become synonymous with importance, productivity, and success. It's a subtle, often unconscious way to signal value. When someone says they're busy, they're often trying to convey that they are in demand, essential, and therefore important. This isn't necessarily a conscious deception, it's a learned social behavior. Psychologists refer to this as performative busyness, where the act of appearing busy is more valued than actual productivity. It taps into our deep-seated need for social validation and status. If you're busy, you must be doing something right, right? 2. The fear of idleness. For many, the thought of not being busy is terrifying. Idleness can bring uncomfortable introspection, forcing us to confront our thoughts, feelings, and perhaps our insecurities. To avoid this existential discomfort, we fill every moment with activity, or at least the idea of activity. This constant motion acts as a distraction, a shield against self-reflection. It's a form of anxiety avoidance where busyness becomes a coping mechanism to escape deeper, unresolved issues. The silence of an empty schedule can be deafening. 3. The illusion of productivity. Our brains love rewards, and checking things off a to-do list, no matter how small, releases dopamine. For those who constantly claim busyness, they might be addicted to the feeling of being productive rather than actual achievement. They might engage in shallow work, tasks that are easy, repetitive, and offer immediate gratification, but don't move the needle on significant goals. This creates a cycle of constant activity without meaningful progress, reinforcing the feeling of being busy without the reality of being productive. 4. The martyr complex. Sometimes the constant declaration of busyness is a subtle plea for sympathy or a way to exert control. By portraying themselves as overwhelmed, they might be seeking validation for their hard work or an excuse for not meeting expectations. This can be a manifestation of a martyr complex, where the individual derives a sense of identity and worth from their perceived suffering and sacrifice. It's a way to say, look how much I'm doing for everyone else, while simultaneously avoiding accountability for their own choices and boundaries. 5. The inability to set boundaries. Often, the always busy person is simply someone who struggles to say no. They take on more than they can handle, not out of ambition, but out of a fear of disappointing others or a desire to please. This inability to set healthy boundaries leads to a genuinely overloaded schedule, but the root cause isn't the workload itself, it's the psychological difficulty of asserting their own needs. They become victims of their own compliance, trapped in a cycle of overcommitment and subsequent stress. So the next time you hear someone constantly proclaiming how busy they are, remember that it's rarely just about their schedule. It's often a complex mix of seeking status, avoiding anxiety, chasing dopamine, or struggling with boundaries. True productivity isn't about the volume of tasks, it's about the impact of your actions. It's about knowing when to work hard and when to rest. They don't need to be constantly moving to be valuable, and neither do you. If you love understanding why people think and act the way they do, hit subscribe. We decode their minds so you can understand yours.